Hello, welcome to the Knowledge Hunt. Today we are going to take a ride of South Korea, also known as Land of the Morning Come, and in this video we will also see some tourist attractions of South Korea. South Korea, officially the Republic of Korea, ROK, is a country in East Asia, constituting the southern part of the Korean peninsula, and sharing a land border with North Korea. About 25 million people, around half of the country's population of 51 million, live in the Seoul capital area.
The Korean peninsula was inhabited as early as the Lower Paleolithic period. Its first kingdom was noted in Chinese records in the early 7th century BCE. Following the unification of the three kingdoms of Korea into Shilla and Balhae in the late 7th century, Korea was ruled by the Goryeo dynasty, 918 to 1392, and the Joseon dynasty, 1392 to 1897. The succeeding Korean Empire was annexed into the Empire of Japan in 1910. After World War II, Korea was divided into two zones, a northern zone occupied by the Soviet Union and a southern zone occupied by the United States. After negotiations on reunification failed, the latter became the Republic of Korea in August 1948, while the former became North Korea.
In 1950, a North Korean invasion began the Korean War, which saw extensive US-led UN intervention in support of the South, while the North received support from China and from the Soviet Union. After the war's end in 1953, the country's economy began to soar, recording the fastest rise in average GDP per capita in the world between 1980 and 1990. The June struggle led to the end of authoritarian rule in 1987, and the country is now considered among the most advanced democracies in Asia, with the highest level of press freedom. However, corruption and political scandals remain serious problems. All four living former South Korean presidents have been sentenced to prison for various crimes ranging from abuse of authority to bribery and embezzlement, with two still currently serving their sentences. The name Korea comes from Goryeo, which was the name given to the dynasty established by General Wang Jian in AD 918. Goryeo means high and clear. Some poetic interpretations of the name Korea are land of high mountains and sparkling streams and land of the morning calm. South Korea is a developed country and is ranked as the 7th highest country on the Human Development Index in the Asia and Oceania region. Its economy ranks as the world's 10th largest by nominal GDP. Its citizens enjoy one of the world's fastest internet connection speeds and the densest high-speed railway network. The country is the world's 5th largest exporter and 8th largest importer. South Korea was in 2017 the world's 7th largest emitter of carbon emissions and the 5th largest emitter per capita. Since the 21st century, South Korea has been renowned for its globally influential pop culture, particularly in music, K-pop, TV dramas and cinema, a phenomenon referred to as the Korean Wave. It is a member of the OECD's Development Assistance Committee, the G20, and the Paris Club. Children born in South Korea are considered 1-year-old when they are born, and will turn 2 on the next Lunar New Year. 100 days after their birth, a celebration is held for the baby. South Korea is the world leader in internet connectivity. Approximately 92% of the country's population are internet users, and they boast the world's fastest average connection speed. Taekwondo is the national sport of South Korea. It's believed to have been invented approximately 2,000 years ago. Lotte World, a major recreation center in Seoul, is home to one of the largest indoor theme parks in the world, as well as an outdoor amusement park, an artificial island connected by monorail, shopping malls, museums, and more. Red ink is considered bad luck in South Korea. Writing a person's name in the color signifies the person is dead, or will die soon. The number 4 is considered bad luck as it is written the same way as the Chinese character for death. The number is often replaced with the letter F, such as when using an elevator. Have you eaten well? Is a common greeting in South Korea, used the way an American may ask how are you? Teaching is one of the most prestigious and well-paying jobs in the country. On average, teachers make $2,500 per month, with teachers at private schools and universities making more. South Korean students are required to take a university entrance exam known as the Suneung. On the morning of the test, friends and family gather at high schools to give out candy and wish students good luck. It is a law in South Korea that online banking and shopping must be done through Internet Explorer. The world's first astronomical lab, Kyomsongdae Observatory, is located in South Korea. It was built in the mid-600s. Korea is constantly ranked world best in terms of education system and the knowledge of students, as studies such as the PISA and the World Top 20 poll suggests. But not only that, out of all OECD countries, South Korea is the country with the highest tertiary university attainment for people between 25 and 34. 68% of Koreans have graduated a university or a similar educational institution. It's no wonder then, that education is a massive industry in this Asian tiger state, and that already in high school students spend up to 16 hours per day in school. This country is all about them studies. Back in the late 50s, South Korea was one of the poorest countries on earth. With a per capita GDP of $94, as compared to North Korea's $140 back then, it was below the poverty line. A controversial ruler, but most of all a hard-working people, changed this rapidly. In only about 20 years, South Korea turned from one of the poorest to one of the richest nations on earth. While it should not be forgotten that this all happened under an alleged and rather inhumane dictator, this economical leap is unprecedented. Koreans aren't scared of a lot. But if you put them in a closed room, put them to sleep and turn on a fan, you might be causing some serious anxiety. Where this belief comes from, nobody really knows, but even nowadays it's still widespread. You've always dreamed of massive rooms where you and all your friends can play online games together on high-end computers. Or, as you wanted to attend massive esports events on the beach? Well, Korea's the place. Computer rooms, PC bangs, in Korea are as normal as bakeries in Europe. And yes, also that esports event exists on Gwangali Beach in Busan. But beware, Koreans are world famous for being some of the best esport players in the world. A relic of Korean merchants' desire to grow in standing in the 18th century, a couple of names made it big in the peninsula. Especially Kim has a special position. 1 in 5 Koreans has this last name. Back in the days, when Koreans were poor and winters were long, there was not much choice for Koreans but to ferment cabbage to be able to survive. In essence, this is how kimchi was born. This tradition is so deep-rooted in the Korean history and character that today you'd have a hard time going to a restaurant and not having any kimchi. It is always served as a side dish, no matter where you're at. Quite logical, then, that Koreans also say kimchi instead of cheese when taking photographs. Korea is obsessed with looks. You'll notice when you visit, people care a lot. So much, that many of them consider plastic enhancements. While the majority of those are relatively minor, double eyelid surgeries, the plastic surgery business in Korea is booming. K-pop, K-movies, K-drama, K-beauty. The K's all around. Not only do you hear Korean music even in European supermarkets these days, but also the cinema has made it to the world stage. As one of the biggest global movie industries, it is also on the way to its first Oscar. Boon's Parasite is the movie of the hour. In Korea, people love to have a good time and they also love entertainment. But they are not crossing the line, pun intended. Even in bustling Seoul, you will rarely see non-tourists jaywalking or misbehaving. It's part of the identity and the culture to not cause too much trouble or problems for others. South Koreans love shopping, and the country has some of the biggest shopping malls in the world. The stores are open until 4 o'clock in the morning, while most restaurants, bars, and cafes are open only until 11 p.m. South Koreans are automatically classified at birth according to their blood type, which is a custom that originated in Japan but has become very important in South Korean culture and may even determine who gets to marry whom. 6. South Koreans love sweet potatoes so much that there is every possible dish flavored with sweet potato, including main courses, desserts, chips, latte, bread, salads, and sweet potato topped pizza. Few South Koreans choose not to marry, and an unmarried person is called a big baby in Korean slang. There are 2 kinds of marriage in South Korea: yoni, love marriage, and chungmi, arranged marriage. Only 3.2% of South Koreans are overweight, which ties the country of Japan for the lowest percentage in the world. South Korean men love makeup, spending close to $900 million a year, or a quarter of the world's men's cosmetics. Up to 20% of the male Korean population is reported to use makeup regularly. In South Korea, it is perfectly legal to drink alcohol in public. People can carry open containers of their favorite alcoholic beverage and even take a drink or two. In 2012, a prison in the South Korean city of Pohang became home to the world's first robotic prison guards. The country also uses robots to guard the Demilitarized Zone, DMZ, between North and South Korea and as teachers. South Korea harvests more than 90% of the world's seaweed consumption. Life expectancy for Koreans stands at 82.4 years, overtaking all the countries. It is also said that South Koreans have higher IQ. South Korea is also home to many famous companies such as Kia Motors, Hyundai, Samsung and many more. Tourism in South Korea refers to the tourist industry in the Republic of Korea. In 2012, 11.1 million foreign tourists visited South Korea, making it the 20th most visited country in the world, and the 6th most visited in Asia. Most non-Korean tourists come from other parts of East Asia such as Japan, China, Taiwan, and Hong Kong. The recent popularity of Korean popular culture, often known as the Korean Wave, in these countries has increased tourist arrivals. Seoul is the principal tourist destination for visitors. Popular tourist destinations outside of Seoul include the major coastal city of Busan, the Seorak-san National Park, the historic city of Gyeongju and subtropical Jeju Island. Traveling to North Korea is not normally possible without a special permission, but in recent years organized group tours have allowed groups of South Korean citizens to visit Mount Kumgang.
Please do subscribe my channel and press the bell icon. If you like this video, hit a like for this video.